Hi, my name is Maya. I'm a pelvic floor physiotherapist at Urban Wellness, and today we're going to be going over the connection breath exercise. The connection breath involves connecting, breathing to the pelvic floor. And it's important to understand both mechanics first. Really briefly, when we inhale, our diaphragm descends and our pelvic floor should lengthen, and when we exhale, our diaphragm ascends and our pelvic floor engages. And so the goal of the connection breath is to maintain this function or create this function if it's something you're not observing currently. The breathing portion of this is quite important, and posturally we do care. So we want to think about our ribs and our pelvis. And I want them to be stacked when we do this exercise. So a small arch in the back is fine, but we shouldn't be over tilted in any position. It's an easy posture to find if you lie on your back with your knees a little bit bent, or if you just take some moments to kind of feel your body in its position. So for me right now, my ribs are directly over my pelvis. Before we think about our pelvic floor, I like to have people think about breathing first. So a diaphragmatic breath, or cueing the diaphragm, we want to think about our low ribs and our abdomen and belly. When we inhale, we want to see our ribs expand 360 degrees, specifically the lower ones first, and we want to see our belly inflate and come forward. Conversely, what I don't really want to see is this inhalation where I see your shoulders elevating, but I don't see anything coming through the ribs and belly. So a good breath in, maybe we take one hand to a rib and one hand to the belly, and we inhale. And we think about those things expanding, and then we can exhale and move in and out. Now it's a good idea to do longer inhalations. So it may take 3 seconds to inhale and exhale. If you feel good about the diaphragmatic breathing component of this, then we can visualize our pelvic floor. So on inhalation, I like to think about my pelvic floor anatomy. So I'm going to think about sits bone to sits bone, pubic bone to tailbone. I'm going to think about that trampoline between my legs. And as I inhale, I'm going to visualize my sits bone spreading apart and my pelvic floor descending. Good visualizations for this might be a flower blossoming around the vaginal opening, or that trampoline descending, or whatever works for you. Some people imagine a balloon inflating. So we're going to take that breath in, and we're going to think about sending air down. And then as we exhale, we're going to gently contract the pelvic floor to lift it up. There's a few visualizations that work, depending on if you want to bias different areas of the pelvic floor. You can think at the urethra, you can think at the vaginal canal, you can think at the anus, and you might bias one or the other. In general, we'll think about the vaginal canal here. Maybe we'll visualize a marble at the vaginal opening. So we'll inhale, we'll descend. Then as we exhale, we're going to try and squeeze that marble with our vaginal canal and draw it very gently up towards the cervix. So we're not doing this big forceful contraction, more so we're just connecting, exhaling to that engagement. And then we'll inhale, the marble will descend and drop. Something I like to think about is an elevator. So at rest, we're at our resting position, we're at the ground floor. As we inhale, we're going to go down to the basement, and as we exhale, we're going to go to the top floor. And so we're passing both positions. We're not ever resting in our neutral position. We're trying to control the full length of the vaginal canal. Now, you might benefit from biasing one area more than the other. And if you do, posture can change that. So if you roll back onto your tailbone and you inhale deeply and exhale, you might find that it's a bit stronger connection to your anus just from the fact that you've positioned yourself there. If you sit neutral or with the kind of equidistance between the pubic bone and the tailbone, there might be more engagement through your vaginal canal. And if you roll forward onto pubic bone, you might actually feel the urethra engage more. We can also visualize different components of our pelvic floor engaging. When we're pregnant, it's normally beneficial to draw more attention to our urethra and our vaginal canal, as that's where a lot of pressure tends to be absorbed. So let's do 2 or 3 breaths together. We're going to inhale deeply, ribs expand, belly inflates. And we're going to exhale, tighten and lift the marble. Inhale, descend all the way down. And exhale, engage.